Welcome to the Shootin' Show. Stand by for shots fired. Hello, I'm Johnny Rowland, your host of the Shootin' Show, and welcome again to this week's program. We have, as I like to say, another great show for you. We have some guests that I know you're going to find interesting. We've been to the SHOT Show, and that's the great shooting, hunting, outdoor trade show in Dallas, Texas for the past several days. And friends, it was something to behold. People, of course, from all over the world, manufacturers of all types, having anything to do with shooting or hunting, or for that matter, the outdoors. We're so glad to have you, friends. There are a lot of things going on that all of us need to know about. There are some things that the government has planned for us that I really don't think we want any part of, so we've got to do something about it now while there's still time. Anyway, let's begin another Shootin' Show. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here we are at the 1994 SHOT Show in Dallas, and they have one of the neatest, I suppose these things are bronze. Beats heck out of me what they are, but they're big, I know that. In fact, let's get, hey, Kurt's 6'4". Would you please go over and stand by that, please, sir? Now, one of two things. Either things in Texas really did used to be a lot bigger, or they made them a little bit larger to scale, but it's a wonderful sculpture with the horse and the cowboy there, and of course our associate producer, an all-around nice guy, Kurt Bickers, demonstrating just the size of these things. It's real pretty. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the one and only Frank Baggett, our advertising manager, who's just finishing off his Coca-Cola, and he's standing next to the cemetery. This is an interesting thing here at the convention center here in Dallas, and of course this is a gigantic building. We're having a little, in fact, a little snow and sleet forecast for today as we're doing our program. But let me do a little sweep here. Your reporter and / cameraman today. Okay, it is a gigantic facility. Of course, at the SHOT Show, people are here from literally all over the world, and we'll be going inside and looking at different products. It's interesting, there's an old cemetery here by the convention center, and just looking, there's a monument that we feel like we should report. This monument was put here in 1896, and it's to the Confederate Army, I believe by Daughters of the Confederacy. And I tell you what, by reading the monument, it sounds like the South won. Now, someone probably should have told them that it didn't turn out quite that way, but oh heck, you know, a little poetic license, I suppose.
We're here at the SHOT Show in Dallas with Yukio Iwamasa, who has got something that we feel is just an excellent product as far as concealment holsters goes. You're just not going to believe what you see right now. Now, how many people out there knew that he had that under there?
It's gone, isn't it? Hard to decide.
Totally disappears under the normal fold in the shirt, and we're not talking about a compact gun there. We're talking pretty good size.
That was a compact 45.
Well,
what you're looking at is the best concealment holster going. There's absolutely nothing will hide a gun better than this. And it's the sensation of the show. I think we're selling out.
Excellent.
We have a tremendous reception here during the show.
Okay. If our viewers would like to contact you about purchasing this direct, how would they go about it?
Well, first place they might look is Guns and Ammo, because we're in that magazine every month. Your local law enforcement journals, Handguns magazine, Shooting Times magazine. We have a full page ad there, so we're pretty easy to get a hold of. The 800 number would be 442-3627. So that's another way.
Okay, very good. How about giving us another quick shot of that?
There you go. Magic is putting this away and making it disappear.
Yeah, but you still didn't know it was there.
And it's gone.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, friends, I didn't tell you earlier, but you should get a pencil and a piece of paper, because this particular holster is one of the neatest concealment systems that I've ever come across.
and give them a call at 1-800-442-3627. And please, with our advertisers, if you don't mind, and I know you don't, please tell them that you saw it on the Shootin' Show. But this is such a neat deal. It's very fairly priced, and a lot of you may be interested in these.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is Kurt Vickers and Lane Kirk from Florida, Texas, a loyal viewer of the Shootin' Show. And Lane, we want you folks to know how much we appreciate you.
Folks, we're here at the SHOT Show down in Dallas, and we have the distinct pleasure of speaking with Carol Lee Boyle Sprinkle, who's an outdoor writer and also a big game hunter. And we'd like her to talk to you a little bit about guns and women's issues and, well, whatever strikes her fancy.
Okay, thank you. I write for Women in Guns and Shooting Industry as well as about anybody else who'll pay me. But one of my projects right now is I'm putting together a database of women who hunt, what they want to hunt, where they want to hunt, that sort of thing, so that as I'm invited out to hunt with an outfitter or whomever, I can build some women's hunts, and take them places they might not otherwise get to go, 3 or 4 at a time, that sort of thing. And so I'm here. One of the things I'm doing at the SHOT Show is actively looking for women hunters to get them signed up on my list if they're interested.
Okay, for some of the women out there, why don't you tell them a little bit about what you've brought down in the past?
Well, I was in Africa, spring to us, fall to them, last April and May, and killed 2 impala, a warthog, and a wildebeest. And I'd love to take a group of women back this May. And I know people are a little bit nervous about the political situation in South Africa right now. And if it's uncomfortable at that time, we'll postpone it to the fall because things should be settled down by then. But if any women hunters are out there and want to go to Africa with me, I'd love to hear from them. I've also got a hog hunt supposed to take place in South Florida in February. Haven't had a whole lot of response on that yet. So if there's some women out there, or if they're just interested in getting on the list, I'd love to hear from them.
And what kind of features are you doing for the Women in Guns magazine? Is it going to be strictly hunting, or are you addressing the self-defense aspects?
Mostly shooting. I'm going to be doing some air gun pieces this year, hearing protection, eye protection, that sort of thing.
So just anything in general,
right,
to help inform our women viewers?
Right, encourage women to shoot, and also some of the self-defense aspect, I think, probably.
Okay, very good. I think nothing would help the shooting sports more than to, get a whole bunch of women together, get them out on a good, successful hunt, and report back to us.
Women are the future of hunting. We're the fastest growing segment of the outdoor industry, and especially with the anti-hunters out there. I think women, because most anti-hunters are women, women can respond to their concerns in ways that men simply can't. I mean, it's just a fact of life. And so I think it's important for women hunters to be visible and to learn as much as they can about their support, because, we're headed into some serious problems with the antis.
Yeah, I think it'd be really interesting to hear some teenage boy whining that, no, he can't go out with his friends because his mom's taking him deer hunting this weekend.
I tell you what, I have a little boy who will be 4 in 3 weeks, and he and I killed a deer together before he was 2. And now he wants to go squirrel hunting every chance we get.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So
that is the future of hunting and the future of shooting in this country. Well, thank you very much for sitting and speaking with us.
Thank you.
Now, if there's some ladies out there who would like to accompany Carol Lee on a hunt, and I know there are a lot of them who would, you can contact her through the Women in Guns magazine. So it's available on your local newsstand, and in fact, for that matter, on next week's show, we'll try and have a follow-up. We'll try and have a name and address on how to contact her direct, but she's a lovely person and a heck of a hunter, and I know you ladies would enjoy it.
Hi, I'm Bob Brown, Vietnam veteran and publisher of Soldier of Fortune magazine, described by some as the most politically incorrect magazine in the United States. Every issue we publish in-depth, provocative articles by our investigative reporters on the efforts of gun-grabbing politicians and the BATF to undermine our Second Amendment rights, and what you can do to stop them. Also on-site coverage of the government's abuse of power as occurred in the Randy Weaver tragedy and the Waco fiasco. No puff, no fluff, in-depth technical reviews of new firearms and ammo. In short, hard-hitting action articles of immediate interest to all real Americans, available from no other mainstream media. You need the other side of the story. That's why I'm offering a 1-year subscription to Soldier of Fortune for only $22. That's over a 50% saving. Also, we're going to throw in a free 67-page bonus coverage of all our Waco material that's appeared in Soldier of Fortune and how it affects you. Call our 1-800 number now.
And friends, you can call our Shootin' Show 800 number. That's 1-800-895-7916. Ask for Department SOF for Soldier of Fortune, and we'll take MasterCard or Visa, check, or money order. So call us at 1-800-895-7916. Department SOF, $22 for a year of Soldier of Fortune plus the Waco supplement. It's a great bargain, friends, for a great magazine.
Texas are, they have a new line of Derringers. The things that make this Derringer different, it has a rebounding hammer. It has a spring-loaded side lever on the side of the frame. Of course, it also has a spring-loaded ejector, which is a very nice feature. It looks to be extremely well made. It really gives you a real good impression just looking at it. So we're looking forward to testing these guns on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, here are a couple of our loyal viewers, Greg and Larry, representing the R&S Gun Shop out in Clovis, New Mexico. And we hope to get out there way soon, and I think they're having a great time here at the show. We're certainly glad to meet them. We're at the Crossman booth with Ted Harps and Bob. And Bob, say your name for me one more time.
Saldivera.
Okay. That's a good Italian name.
Sure is.
Well, sir, we're very pleased to see you folks here in the booth. We're very interested in this facility behind us. Tell us some of the things that you and Crossman are doing about youth programs or Boy Scouts, some of the things you're doing to introduce new shooters into our field.
Well, Crossman has had a commitment to youth shooting for many, many years before I even got involved with Crossman. And now we've expanded it to include programs that go from Cub Scouts all the way through to college students in the Explorer program. As a matter of fact, this year, this July, we'll be running an event in Indiana at the Indiana University for law enforcement explorers and explorers, where the winners of the shooting competition will receive college scholarships for their shooting. This past summer, we had a total of 38,000 youngsters in Boy Scouts at Fredericksburg, Virginia, go through either the Bikeathlon, which is an event that Crossman created about 6 years ago that's patterned after the biathlon, which of course is cross-country skiing and small-bore rifle shooting. And the Bikeathlon replaced the skis with cross-country bicycles and replaced the firearms with air guns. And they're racing the clock. It was quite an event, and a total of 18,055 scouts completed that course, and the remainder of the 38,000 completed a marksmanship program.
Well, sir, that is wonderful. We're so much in appreciation of what you're doing, and we're going to try and support you in your efforts.
Well, we're certainly glad to hear that.
Stay tuned for more of the Shootin' Show after this break for your local cable company or TV station.
Did you ever try to throw an axe, throw a tomahawk, or throw a knife? Well, now you can with AccuBlade's free video on the art of throwing weapons, free with any axe, tomahawk, or knife order. All AccuBlade products are made by hand in the USA. Please allow 4 to 6 weeks delivery.
Well, friends, we're going to look at a small handgun today, but believe me, it is not small in capability. This is the Colt 1991 A1, and this is called the compact model. And it's very similar to The 1991 A1 we've had, I guess for a year now, and have really shot and shot and shot. The quality on Colt semi-automatic pistols is so good. They're so reliable. In the past I've said that there's a couple of things that are things that Colt really knows how to do well, and that's build a semi-automatic 45 caliber handgun. And this officer's model, or the 1991 A1 compact model, which is the same gun essentially as an officer's model. It just has a parkerized finish. It's not quite as I suppose the finish is not as shiny. Probably it's more durable than bluing. We've had awfully good luck because our old 1991 A1, your standard old Colt 45, has gotten some pretty rough treatment over this past year. It's been carried a lot in all sorts of weather, in dirt and sand and snow and rain and whatever else. It was exposed to a lot, and the finish has held up really well on it. So I think that the parkerized finish, for my own purposes, is probably a little more desirable than the blued guns. Next to stainless steel or nickel plating, I would think it would be one of the best finishes available. These guns work essentially like the full-size government model. You have a grip safety and a thumb safety, and of course you can tell from the pictures the two are similar in the way they look. It's just the compact model is quite a bit shorter. It has about a 3.5-inch barrel versus a 5-inch barrel for the full-size government model. It holds 6 in the magazine versus 7 or 8, depending on which magazine you have, in the full-size government model. The officer's model loses. We found a disparity of about 50 feet per second in 45 caliber ammunition, which we didn't think was too serious a loss at all. This compact model, even with the 3.5-inch or so barrel, will still make the major qualification very easily with ball ammunition, which is important to a lot of us involved in IPSC or USPSA, our action type shooting. You want to make that power floor level for major. These are very, as I said earlier, very well-made guns. They're very dependable and reliable. My own personal feeling is that the Colt semi-automatic 45 pistols are as reliable as recoil-operated mechanisms can be. This is my own feeling, and certainly a lot of other people's experience does bear this out. We're going to take a closer look at this little gun in just a moment. As you can tell, it is a small handgun, especially for the 45 caliber power that is involved here. We're talking a lot about handguns now. There's a tremendous movement afoot in Washington to literally take handguns away from us. And friends, it's outrageous. There are millions and millions of guns, long guns, handguns, whatever else out there. And so now they've decided, some of these lunatic politicians have decided that by taking handguns away from us, the honest citizen, the law-abiding citizen, that they're somehow going to make a dent in crime. Well, you know, criminals don't buy their guns from dealers anyway. They buy them from each other on the street. Most of the guns used in crime are either stolen from a law-abiding citizen or they're bought from another criminal. So see, how is this going to affect crime if it only affects us, the honest citizen, who's not involved in crime anyway? It's just ridiculous. And again, something has got to be done about this. Anyway, this compact model, the good folks at Britain's have loaned us this gun for testing, and someone put a real nice set of white micarta type grips, and it has scrimshaw on it. This particular one has a Black Widow spider on the grip here, and we'll see that a little closer in just a moment. And truthfully, if this were my gun, I don't believe that I would have that spider on there. One, I don't like spiders, but two, if you did have to use your gun in self-defense, and this is something to be aware of now, Masad Ayub has talked about this in his columns on more than one occasion. If you have some sort of a ferocious animal or title on your gun, well, some Yahoo defense lawyer may want to make something out of that, saying, well, this man thought he was deadly with a Black Widow spider on his gun. So just to help lawyer-proof my gun, or certainly to add to my defense, if I did have to use this gun in self-defense, I believe I'd get rid of the spider on this one. Again, this is not a standard Colt grip. It is an aftermarket grip. And admittedly, the spider is real well done, but I don't know. A Black Widow spider is always going to be ugly to me. And so a little personal personal note there, I suppose. But we've had really good reliability with this gun. You do have to bear in mind you must keep that wrist solidly locked for any of these guns to work reliably, and especially on the smaller guns. You know, it's got to be solid. If you have a limp wrist type situation, we'll see, for this slide to come back, it's got to have a firm base here on the bottom in order for it to work. The bottom has to be stable for the top to eject the empty cartridge and reload itself. So it's so important, especially on these smaller guns we've found, and all the aluminum frame guns, guns like the Glock, which are very easy to limp wrist and make the gun malfunction. Whereas you've got to have, on these semi-automatic pistols, you've got to have that locked wrist. Better to a Weaver type stance like so. Push with this arm out, have that locked wrist, pull back with this hand like so. You get much better functioning, much more reliable functioning with these guns. Well, let's take a closer look at our 1991 A1 compact model. Now, friends, of course, looking at the compact model Colt here, you can see it is a small gun in comparison to the palm of my hand, certainly for a 45 ACP type handgun. And you'll see our old Spider here. Again, the old Spider is well done, but personally, I just think I wouldn't want that on my gun, because again, as I said earlier, I just don't like Spiders. Forget that. You can see it is a single action semi-automatic pistol, and we know, of course, it's empty. And I'll show you something. Here again is that coned barrel. This is how it locks up tight in the slide here. And these guns can be surprisingly accurate. We'll let our slide down. Of course, you have the thumb safety, you have a grip safety, and also you have a firing pin safety on these guns to keep them from going off even if the gun is dropped. We have a round commander type hammer. It's not going to bite you here in the web of your hand, and I don't think recoil is very bad with these guns. You know, you're not talking about a terribly high velocity cartridge. You're talking about a 230 grain bullet moving at about 800 or so feet per second, and these guns, to work as defense type guns, you don't have to have that much velocity. That old big 45 caliber bullet is pretty darn effective, whether it's a hollow point or not. Now then, you can see that it has excellent 3-dot sights. Looking through there, it's very easy to pick up quickly. These are so nice packages. They're such nice packages. They do work so well. Now then, of course, to load our gun, we have our 6-round magazine here. It goes in the base like so. And I may put my hearing protection in just a little bit better. Now then, friends, we put our magazine in. We've got it fully loaded, fully seated. And you need to be aware, be sure that magazine is seated all the way. Now, to load the gun, remember, pull that slide all the way back and let it go. So, and we'll apply our safety. Now then, we have our bullseye on our target. So let's shoot our 45 model 1991 A1 compact model. Remember, what we want to do is want to line up those 3 dots in those sights and get a locked wrist and pull the trigger. Okay, you'll notice we did have a little bit of recoil, but it wasn't so bad. Let's shoot it again. All right. And one more. And let's apply our safety because we have one more in the magazine. Well, let's go up and take a look at our target. Now, friends, I think that's a pretty good group. That's 5 shots there, 3 in one hole, and 2, certainly the other 2 are actually touching or sort of touching the bullseye on the top right there. But again, for our 1991 A1 compact model, I think that's excellent accuracy. Now, friends, something that I do want to mention, magazines for our 1991 A1, the compact model, and I guess I could shorten that to just our Colt compact model here. Magazines from the larger government model will fit in the gun, and in fact, it gives your little finger a place to go there. So I rather like shooting it with the longer magazine, plus you pick up an extra cartridge. If this gun were mine, I wouldn't worry about buying additional magazines, the 6-round magazines for this gun. I'd go with the standard magazine out of the regular government model. Well, let's take a look here, in my hands anyway, and let you see the recoil from the side. Like I said, personally, for such a powerful cartridge, and a 45 ACP up close and personal is a powerful cartridge. So I really don't think recoil is that bad. Again, get that locked wrist and pull back with that Weaver type stance, and see, I just don't think it's that bad. Certainly not objectionable. Now then, just for sake of reference, we can come back and, of course, we did apply our safety to that gun. We'll come back and we'll shoot our full-size government model and let you compare it. You probably can't tell that much difference. It's like, so again, I really don't see that great a degree of difference in recoil. These are very good options for someone who is, and we did unload it there. Yes, it is unloaded. I see this as a fine option for say a backup gun. If you're, say you have a full-size government model, an excellent backup gun because the ammunition's the same, the magazines, certainly on the magazines for the government model will fit the compact model. You have a number of interchangeable parts, the safety, the hammer, things like that, which appear to be interchangeable, but the operating mechanism is the same. However, this would be a very fine backup gun to just darn near anything. And of course, I would feel a lot more than unarmed if this is the only gun I had. This is, today we have to think about defensive situations which do arise whether you're a man or a woman. The crime rate has gotten out of control in so many areas, and the only thing that can stop it is arming the citizenry. Now, you know, everyone is not comfortable carrying a firearm. Everyone doesn't have to. There are enough of us out there who want to learn to shoot firearms, who want to be proficient with our guns and be safe. Enough of us generally will carry guns as to certainly put a stop to most things that are happening. In Florida, we understand from a number of surveys that have been done since they enacted the concealed carry permit in the state of Florida that crime upon residents has gone down dramatically. All sorts of violent crimes have dropped a great deal. And this is one reason that tourists are so in dangerous positions in Florida, because the criminal, the thieves know that if you get off an airplane, well, you're not going to be armed. If you're a tourist from somewhere else, you're in a rent car, well, the chances are that you're not going to be carrying weapons. So, see, these people only pick on people that can't defend themselves. As we said on a recent program, how many police stations have you ever heard of being robbed? Well, you just don't hear of it because everybody's carrying a gun. Everyone's armed. So this is the thing that we're trying so hard to get the message out. You know, the women in our society and the retired people and the children are who really suffer at the hands of criminals, because they pick on people just like the bully back in school. You know, the bully never picks on somebody his own size. Well, let me tell you what, friends, one of these handguns can make everybody the same size regardless of what their physical stature is. And a lot of women can learn to shoot these guns extremely well. Women typically are easier to teach to shoot handguns than are men, because one, they don't have the John Wayne syndrome. And yes, I am a fan of John Wayne, but a lot of men, as you've heard me say before, think that, well, I'm a man and I should be able by nature to take care of my family, so I ought to be able to shoot a gun. It's not so. A lot of men need to learn just like women. But the women have been used to doing things in the kitchen and in an office and around the workplace with their hands. They tend to be more proficient with nimble movements, like moving a safety off or something like that. So women are very easily trained to shoot handguns, certainly. Remember, if you go out, if some of the ladies are going out to shoot for the first time, do not forget that hearing protection, and don't forget that eye protection, absolutely. Because if someone has never shot a gun before and it hurts their ears every time the gun goes off, well, they're not going to want to continue. They're going to be uncomfortable with it. In a situation where you had to defend your life, noise at that time is not that great a factor. Recoil at that time is not that great a factor. A lot of us will suffer through shooting high-powered rifles at a bench and sighting them in, but when you actually shoot at a game animal, something like that, you hardly hear the noise of the rifle. Most of the time you don't feel the recoil nearly to such an extent, because you're concentrating on trying to hit the game animal. It's the same thing in a self-defense situation. Many people that we've spoken with that have been in firefights, noise was just not a factor. And believe me, if a woman's trying to defend herself or defend her family, that is not going to be something to worry about. But out here on the range, by all means, we need eye protection and we need that hearing protection, because we want to make the best impression on new shooters that we possibly can. Well, friends, this is one we recommend highly, the Colt 1991 A1 compact model. It's very reliable. They're very fairly priced. I understand that Colt is selling every one of these they can make, and now with the Brady bill due to come online in a couple of more months, we really don't know what it's going to do to our ability to buy a handgun. So friends, I wouldn't put it off. I'd go on. If I was looking for a good handgun, I would go ahead and get one as soon as I could. So again, the great Colt compact model, 45 ACP.
Stay tuned for more of The Shootin' Show after this break for your local cable company or TV station. You know, friends, whether you like the cowboy-type guns like this Ruger Vaquero and 45 Colt, or if you like the guns like this Colt Sporter, which, yes, it does look a lot like an AR-15, but no, it is not an AR-15 or an M16. It is a Colt Sporter, a very fine home defense gun and a very fine varmint gun. Well, also, don't discount the cowboy guns, because even guns like this single-action revolver can still be very useful and effective arms. Well, friends, let me read something to you, and let me remind you that we're under the worst assault, not only on our rights, but on the founding ideals of our country. Probably we're at the toughest time in history since the Civil War. Let's go further than that. Probably since one of Washington's worst losses, or worser losses, back during the Revolutionary War. Because, friends, let me tell you what. We have a situation developing in our government with these socialists. Literally, our government has been invaded by a foreign power. And I say foreign as to the ideals of our founding fathers and to most of us throughout the country, us being the basic American citizen. Let me read you something we got out of the newspaper here recently. We have some quotes here from some pretty famous people. Some of them we have high regard for, some we don't. But let me tell you what they said. This is from Thomas Jefferson. It says, "No free man shall ever be debarred the use of arms. The strongest reason for the people to retain the right to keep and bear arms is, as a last resort, to protect themselves against tyranny in government." And notice now the omission of the sportsman-collector argument. See, the reason the Second Amendment is in the Constitution is not for hunters, it is not for sportsmen, it's so we can keep our country, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, so we can keep our country. Another quote here, "The Constitution shall never be construed to prevent the people of the United States who are peaceable citizens from keeping their own arms." And that's a quote from Samuel Adams. But listen at this. "History shows that all conquerors who have allowed their subject races to bear arms have prepared their own downfall." Now that's from Adolf Hitler. And one other one here I think you'll find interesting. "Make mass searches and hold executions for found arms. Unless this is done, the victory of socialism is impossible." Now that's from V.I. Lenin of socialist, communist Lenin fame. You know, friends, at the SHOT Show this past week in Dallas, we heard a number of things from some very reliable sources that are really frightening about some of the things the socialists in government have planned for you and I. It is really disturbing to think that in some of these folks in our own government are actually working against us. You know, we're in all sorts of of socialist directions. They're talking about this fiasco with health care, so many things that they're planning that are going to take away our freedom as a people. You know, how much can you trade? How much are we willing to give up? Say, well, you know, we're going to let somebody else take care of us. We're going to let the almighty government take care of us. Well, look, friends, it is not the almighty government. As I've said before, the government is just a bunch of people sitting in offices up there writing regulations for us. And many times we have seen these people who are writing the regulations do not live under the same laws that we do. This is outrageous, and something's got to be done. You know what you can do? You can join the Shoot and Show Gun Club. You can call us. We'll send you our list of aims for a $25 annual membership fee. And again, you get to order from the Bullet Express catalog at a reduced rate, of course. If you order very much stuff, you'll actually get your membership money back. But friends, we need your help. We're going to be doing these clinics around the country. And besides that, we're going to be speaking to a number of different important groups around the country in coming months, because something has got to be done. We have got to wake some people up. I mean, it's Paul Revere time, ladies and gentlemen. It is, in fact, if we're going to retain the rights that we were given by our forefathers. One of the great quotes, I believe it was George Washington, said, well, we've given you a democratic republic and see if you can keep it. That's essentially what he said, and that's really true. Have we lost the ability to hold on to our freedom, to our very country? You know, freedom is a lot like shaving. The men will understand this better than the ladies probably, but you know, if you don't shave every day, well, you turn into a bum. You've got to work at it a little bit every day. And if you let it go by a few days and then you shave it after 3 or 4 or 5 days or a week, and you don't want to grow a beard, nothing against beards, of course, but if you shave after about 4 days, well, you know, it hurts. The razor tends to pull, and you wind up cutting yourself a few times. Well, it's a lot less painful if we shave every day, and because you have to work at it a little bit every day. Freedom's the same way. It has to be worked at every day. We have to get involved in these elections. You know, there's one thing that these congressmen understand more than anything else. The people in government who are elected officials. You know, they like their jobs. They like being in Washington, all the perks, the trips, all this, these things they can get to do. Well, you know, they don't want to come home and go back to work. By and large, most of them don't. They want to stay in those positions. If we can convince them that we've had enough of their baloney up there and these lunatic laws and regulations they're passing that we don't want them to, and we're going to fire them and bring them home and make them go back to work, well, you know, they'll try a little harder for us, the honest citizen. I think that's something that has to be done. You know, friends, if we are to retain our liberty and our freedom, we've got to work together. We have to put aside some of the differences, no matter what shooting discipline you like, whether you're a skeet shooter or a quail hunter or a deer hunter, or you compete in the action shooting games. We've got to start working together. We've got to quit bickering, just like some other different organizations have put aside their differences and work very hard together. We have to do that too. Please join the Shoot and Show Gun Club. Help us and help all of us in our efforts to literally retain our rights to our own Constitution, to our own way of life.
Here we are inside the SHOT Show. It's a fantastic size. Literally.
Trying to get out of your way.
It's okay. It's unbelievable. This is floor 1. The largest sporting goods display in a single place in the world. We're in the Navy Arms booth, and this is Susan Forget. Did I say that right?
That's correct.
Forget. And she is showing us, well, just one thing. And this, in fact, is Dean Spear, who's standing over here giving me trouble. All right. Now then, back to the item at hand. Okay. She has a real pretty revolver. It's a modernized edition of the Smith & Wesson Schofield. So, Susan, why don't you show us how it works, please?
It was a favorite of the cowboys and the westerners of the Old West as its ability to be rapidly reloaded. Very popular way Jesse James used to do it. It's like so.
Now, isn't that something? Now, what caliber is this going to be in, Susan?
In 45 long Colt or 44-40.
Well, and we're especially glad to hear that because 44 Russian ammunition is getting rather hard to find.
Yes, it is. That is
so
true.
We're so pleased.
And that was actually the official U.S. Military gun for a couple of years, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. In fact, General Custer carried this one.
I'm not sure that's the best recommendation right now.
That is true.
Well, it's so nice, such a nice execution of that design. It looks, I'm sure you're going to sell a whole lot of those. And
Yeah, it's an exact replica.
for that matter, probably a couple to Dean here and Kurt and myself. Susan, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Here we are at the Corbin booth at the SHOT Show, 1994 SHOT Show. And beautiful, how about downtown Dallas, Texas?
Yes, sir.
But it really has been a great show, hasn't it,
Yes, it
Peter?
has. It's been a superb show. It's been, I think all the exhibitors are just beaming. It's been very busy. Been real busy. It's been a super show for us, I'll tell you. It's been a real good show.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of you met Peter High from our Soldier Fortune Convention out in Las Vegas, and we're so pleased to be associated with them. They have, of course, some of the absolute best defense and sporting ammunition that money can buy, in fact, at any price. So, Peter, you have some new products that you're going to be showing us.
Yeah, we've got a bunch of new projects that we're working on. One of our new ones is really exciting here from Smith & Wesson. That's a new Smith & Wesson Performance Center gun in the 356 TSW, which gives you the same performance as a 357 Magnum. So all you have is a compact 357 Magnum auto pistol. It's 124 grain, jacketed hollow point, velocity 1,450 feet per second, which is ballistically identical to the 357 Magnum. Right. That's a new one for us. The other cartridge is the 356, the 300 Whisper, which is it comes in both the subsonic and sonic ammunition.
Well, let's hold up on that a second.
Okay.
We featured this with J.D. Jones out a while back on our show.
Yep.
And you're going to be offering this as factory ammunition.
Right. J.D. designed the cartridge. He's does the upper assemblies for the AR-15, and we're got the exclusive license from J.D. to manufacture the cartridge.
Well, that's exciting because you have a deer round, literally, because most of our people know that the 223, and so many people now have the AR-type guns.
Sure.
The 223, friends, is really light for a deer.
Right.
But this, in fact, will give your AR roughly 7.6239 performance.
Right. 125 grain bullets at 2,350 feet per second, which is identical to the 7.62 by 39.
That's tremendous.
Right. And then for the for military and police applications, on this you can put on a slide on the suppressor and use the 220 grain suppressed round, which is good out to about 300 yards for that purposes. Thompson Contender was so impressed with this cartridge that they are now chambering the TC contenders for the 300 Whisper as a silhouette, metallic silhouette application.
Well, that's right.
Yeah, and hunting, of course.
Well, I noticed you have some other new rounds.
Sure.
We see a 45 Colt round here now.
Yeah, a new 45 long Colt. We've had a lot of customers that come to us and say, gee, we really need to modernize a 45 long Colt. So this is our 200 grain flying ashtray load, big hollow point load. It does about 1,100 feet per second and makes the 45 long Colt more modern hollow point.
Can this be used, and a lot of us now are shooting the Italian copies of the 40 Colt single action army.
Right, it works just fine in those guns.
This will be safe, and even the Colts are in good
Absolutely,
condition.
absolutely.
Because a lot of us like single action, present company accepted. A lot of us like single action revolvers.
Right.
And on those guns, that'll be a tremendous one.
Yes, yeah, it would definitely boost the performance level of the 45 long Colt.
You know, a lot of the IPSC shooters have 38 Supers at home, and I noticed that you also have a fire-breathing 38 Super load.
Yeah, we have two 38 Super loads, 115 grain and the 124 grain. Like a lot of guys, they like to keep their IPSC gun for home protection and stuff like that. And obviously the IPSC type loads are no good for home protection. Okay. So we've designed two good hollow points. One is 115, 124 grain for the 38 Super.
You know, this is something to think about because now we're facing regulation that we may not be able to own as many guns in some parts of the country.
Right.
And you can have a gun for sport, for a game gun, and still, and like you said, many times we're not practical in the past. Well, that's
correct.
Well, now, I understand you also, you have a company that you recently purchased, and you're making some pretty spectacular new ammunition, am I correct?
Yeah, we just picked up Corbin Superior ammunition, which is a line of rifle ammunition to complement our pistol ammunition. So we're going to be offering to the shooter performance-oriented hunting rifle ammunition.
Speaking of that, now you do have some 7.6239.
Oh yeah.
And you know, this is, in some places, this is getting hard to find, but this is genuine sporting ammunition, and I'm guessing a nozzler ballistic tip.
Right, it's a nozzler ballistic tip. For you guys that are shooting a lot of the, probably shoot the Chinese ammunition, stuff like that. Right. It's good, for practice, when you go out and want to practice with that stuff, to use your full metal jacket and stuff. But for loading for home defense, you don't want a whole lot of over penetration, so this is why we designed the ballistic tip. It has a nylon tip on the point that lets the cartridge feed like full metal jacket hardball, okay, but will give you the performance of a hollow point. So without the excess penetration, especially in an apartment building or anything like that.
That's really important, because a lot of people have bought these guns now for home defense, and the full metal jacket is really way over penetrated.
Absolutely.
And those of you, we have tried some soft nose bullets in the AKs and SKs, and it wasn't 100% reliable. But this, that will be. It'll feed full metal jacket.
Yeah, it'll feed. The bullet has a full metal jacket profile, so it'll feed like full metal jacket. But the nylon tip on impact pushes down into the bullet, causing it to expand, and gives you the performance of a hollow point.
Well, that's great. All right. Well, let's go over here and look at your superior ammunition.
Stay tuned for more of the Shootin' Show after this break for your local cable company or TV station. Now, Peter, tell us about, we see your superior ammunition, and I see some very large cartridges over here.
Yeah, we're starting to load all the new African-style cartridges that have pretty much been extinct here for quite a while. They're really hard to come by, and we're now going to start offering these to the guys who are going over to Africa with the big double barrel rifles and stuff. For example,
some of these guns are still out there.
Oh yeah, they're still very popular. They're very expensive, and ammunition has not been available for them for quite some time. So we're going to get back into offering these big Thunders here.
Well, can we get a 30-06 or so to show the people, or a 223 for that matter? Let's show them a 223.
And let me grab a 30-06 just for a concise comparison.
There you go. Put it.
This over here. You have the 223 and the 30-06. And the 600 nitro.
My friends, give you an idea, we're all familiar with these two cartridges here in the middle and left, and the 600, this was one of the original elephant rounds, and of course today if you find one of these rounds, this may go for $200 a piece at a gun show somewhere.
I mean, still they're going to be very expensive. They're in the neighborhood of about $5 a round.
But that's a whole lot less than $200 a round.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, that's great. Well, sir, we're so appreciative of what you folks are doing. And friends, this is an example of a young company. Of course, you've been around
10 years now.
10 years. For the firearms business, it's a young company. But let me tell you what, they have put a lot of the, shall we say, larger, older entrenched companies on their ear, because they're offering ammunition that, to my knowledge, nobody else has been able to match in a number of different calibers. So, for information on Corbin ammunition, and you know that, trust me on this one, we would not say it if it were not so. It is absolutely superior ammunition. Let's have that 800 number.
Sure, it's 800-788-2666.
Again,
1-800-788-2666.
Peter, thank you so much.
Okay.
Good to see you.
Thank you, Johnny.
Folks.
Good to see you again.
Well, this is legendary Colonel Rex Applegate. And he's showing Kurt a custom-made cane. Friends, let me tell you what, this man has done and forgotten more than most of us in the adventure business will ever even know about. He is a very, very fine and decent person, certainly as nice as can be to talk to one of the most knowledgeable people about firearms and for that matter warfare. He helped establish some agencies that are in effect even today. And his program still being used by a number of governments all over the world, and certainly private organizations.
You know, friends, all of us as shooting enthusiasts should be subscribing to Shotgun News, the trading post for anything that shoots. 3 big issues monthly with literally thousands and thousands of firearms bargains. Shotgun News, Post Office Box 669, Hastings, Nebraska. That zip code is 68902. The phone number, area 402-463-4589. For MasterCard or Visa for subscriptions only, call them at 1-800-345-6923.
We're at the Cimarron Firearms Company booth, and this is one of the more spectacular, shall we say, colorful booths. We have a real live dead buffalo, stuffed buffalo, and I'll tell you, it's most impressive. This gentleman's name is Mr. Keith. And Keith, tell me your
Magnice.
Magnice. Okay, I'm having trouble reading it from here with my left eye. They have a terrific product line, and Keith's going to show us some of their different rifles. Reproduction, shall we say, very high quality reproduction. Also, we're going to remind you they're really big into the cowboy shooting or single action shooting society type matches. And we are going to be covering some more of these things. So Keith, tell us, show us some of the things you'd like to this afternoon.
Okay, John, let me first of all show you a new product that we have. This just came out on the market. This is called the New Thunder. What we've done with this weapon is we've taken the standard single action, outfitted it with a 3.5-inch barrel. We took the grip off the old Colt Lightning, Colt double action revolvers, which a lot of people have shown interest in. We've enlarged a little bit and made it where we fit onto a single action weapon. We call this the New Thunder. It's available in 2 barrel lengths, the 3.5 and the 4 3/4. It comes in 4 different calibers. Everybody out there that's building single action now wishes they could have this gun. This is our exclusive. We pay for the tooling. It's our design, and this is our baby. We're really proud of it. It's a tremendous seller for it.
Well, we'd like to mind.
We really think that it's going to be the hottest new thing in Western action shooting.
Well, it is most impressive, and we want to remind folks that these reproductions, in fact, are getting better and better. In fact, their quality cannot be faulted. These things are just as pretty. And in fact, they're probably a lot more durable than the originals, aren't they, Keith?
Yes, they are. They're made from better materials. They're made to accommodate modern cartridges to shoot smokeless loads. This is one of our standard single actions, which comes in the fire blue or charcoal blue, which we offer 2 finishes. We offer a modern rust blue for folks that want a weapon that has a durable finish. But for those that want an authentic finish on their old single action Colt, this is it. This is the way Colt did it. You put a Colt next to this, you can't tell the difference.
Well, in fact, there was a reason they called it bluing. A lot of it's black today, but that is, in fact, a real pretty blue. I hope this comes out on
this
our video.
This bluing on this gun is achieved by heating the weapon in a furnace. It's called niter blue or fire blue. But it was actually done by heating it to a temperature 750 degrees, at which point the steel will turn blue.
That is as pretty as can be.
John, I'll show you a few of the rifles that we market. This one right here, everybody that saw Dance's Bull ought to recognize this rifle. This is the Henry rifle. It's available in 3 models. We have it in the 44 caliber civilian model. We have it in a 45 caliber civilian model. And we carry it in our Civil War model, which has sling swivels, it has all the military markings, and the inspector's cartouches stamped into it.
Now, of course, this is not in the original caliber.
The original caliber was 44 rimfire. A few of them were later converted to 44-40 cartridges, what this rifle is. This is in the 44-40 cartridge. Our Civil War model is an exacting reproduction of the Civil War model Henry, down to the inspector's markings as well.
But we would like to remind the folks that these guns are in calibers that ammunition is actually available for, which we think is very important. Because if we're going to have one of these real pretty and functional firearms, we darn sure want to be able to shoot them.
Yes. This model is known as the 1866 Winchester, also known as the Yellow Boy, is a more common name. This is a weapon that followed the Henry in the line of guns produced by Winchester in the mid-1800s. The reason Winchester developed this was because they found that with the Henry, it did not have a fore-end on it. Under rapid fire conditions, the barrel tended to heat it up. It's kind of hard to shoot a rifle one-handed. So they wouldn't put a fore-end on it, and also they found that the Henry was kind of difficult to load, having the sleeve on the end of the barrel that you had to rotate to load, so they incorporated a side loading gate device.
So that was the first one with the side loading gate, is that correct?
This is the first model with the side loading gate, that is correct. However, the frame was all brass. So Winchester folks said, well, hey, let's do something a little better. We got a good design gun, and they decided they needed a little better material, so they developed the 1873 Winchester. This is the 1873 long-range express rifle. Comes in a 30-inch barrel, a 24-inch, and a 20-inch short rifle, as well as a 19-inch saddle ring carbine. This rifle is available in a 45 long Colt, a 44-40 caliber, and a 357 caliber. It has a steel frame that has been case hardened. And think about our rifles in particular. It's going to be stamped with a model 1873, just like the original Winchesters. It has King's Improvement patent dates on the same stampings that are on the old Winchesters. The caliber markings are correct, and we keep these guns cleaned up where the proof markings, where they're manufactured in Italy. The proof markings are hidden up under the fore end there.
So someone would actually think that was just a new condition, original from what they look like.
It does have a made in Italy stamp made on it, and it has our name, Cimarron Repeating Arms, coming.
Well, of course, but to get the feel and the enjoyment of
this is an exacting reproduction, and they shoot just as well as the originals, and made from modern components, so they handle modern.
Well, that's the beauty part. If you have one of the old guns, you may not want to shoot it at all, but you can still have the same.
Now, friends, I know a lot of you are going to want information on the line of guns that Cimarron has, and they have some of the prettiest Western reproductions, I think, to be found anywhere, and they're real nice people. So call them and ask for a catalog or find out information. Their number is area 210-997-9090. Now, we've run out of time on today's SHOT Show feature, but on next week's program and maybe another show or two, we're going to go back and pick up some features that we really think you'd want to see. So, again, if you want that information on Cimarron, just give them a call.
You know, the best planned hunt can be ruined by the smallest thing, like ending up with the wrong ammunition. Hi, I'm Grits Gresham. Truth is, choosing the right load can make all the difference between a successful and an unsuccessful hunt. So, what's the best way to match your ammo to the game you're after? That's easy. Take the guesswork out of ammo selection. To make sure you get the right stuff when it comes to ammunition, see the real pro in your community.
Well, friends, yes, we have run out of time again on today's program. We'll look forward to seeing you in coming days and weeks, certainly. I'll remind you, our Thursday night broadcast on G4 will be moving transponders or moving channels from Channel 23 down to Channel 7 beginning the 27th of January. So please make a note of that. So until next week, we'll see you on another Shootin' Show.